So I started a couple minutes early. Let's get this camera set up. And in this live video, I figured I'd start by showing you how I mix my color for the next impression on my print. And I'm realizing that this last impression, it's getting a little too dark already. And it's a little too warm. So this next impression is gonna be a little bit lighter and a little bit cooler or more neutral. So this is the last color here. And it's just a little too dark already. So I'm gonna kind of knock it back to a cooler gray on top of this red, and we'll work from there. So let me just get my this up here for comments, and we'll get rolling. And what time is it? It's 12 o'clock, so I can start. I did put a post on my Instagram, but I just posted it like a couple minutes ago, so not many people are going to see it. So this is currently where we are with the print, and I also wanted to show, I started to use my Dremel tool a little bit to get some texture in these zones. So I did some stippling, some line work, and some texture here. So I'm going to see how that starts to work in the print, if we can even see it, if it's deep enough. Hopefully it is. So again, I'm going to start by mixing some pigment today on the stream, and I'm going to try to knock back this this a little too dark already for the middle ground there, and I'm going to put like just a neutral gray over top of this. So I'm going to start by mixing ultramarine blue. I don't need tons of pigment today, so we'll start by making a purplish color by about equal amounts of ultramarine blue and this naphthol scarlet, which are two rich colors. And I'm just going to go for a neutral between this warm and cool. Going for a neutral. So I can see it's already too red. So just keep adding some blue to cool it down. I'm also going to add in the third color, which is yellow. See, these are our three primary colors: red, blue, and yellow. And when you keep mixing those three colors together, you're getting closer to gray. Now this is a very dark color. So if we want to see the color at this stage, always have plenty of paper towels on hand. So if we want to see this color, I'm just going to add a little bit of white, and we'll be able to see where we're at. Already you can see how that's changed. So we have a purple or violet color, and I want it to get more gray, so I'm going to add more yellow to it. It'll make it more neutral and gray it down. Now we're comparing this to this red here. So if I want to see where it's at right now, I could just take a little bit and just put it right on top. You can see that's a little bit darker. So we want it to be a little cooler and a little lighter. So I'm just going to wipe that off. And I'm going to mix in, I need some more blue. I might just mix in a little bit of cobalt. This is Cranfield. Might mix in a little bit of cobalt here. Got some ink in my finger. Let's see. This will make it cooler. I need more white because it was a little too dark, if you remember. All right, so we could take a little bit again, see where it's at. It's closer to what we want. It's more neutral. That's kind of what I'm going for there. It's more of a neutral gray, but I still want it to be a little lighter. So I'm going to add some more white. That's going to be good, I think. So I'm just going to move this pile over to this palette for a second. I'm going to clean this up. Because this is the palette I'm going to use for rolling out my ink. That's enough room there. And over here, I'm going to mix in some of the, I have a pile here of transparent base. So I'm going to mix in a decent amount of that right into my color here. This will make it a little bit transparent. So the color underneath will show through a little bit. I also have a little cobalt dryer that I'm going to add, just a drop. You gotta really be careful with this stuff. Mix that all together. Pam. All right, Pam, you made it. Did you see the my Instagram story today? Sorry for the short notice. Pam was saying she wished I announced when I did these videos, and I should. If I actually want people to show up and participate in these videos, I need to like invite them. But really, I've been just using these videos as a means to kind of document the process and get them on my YouTube channel, and people can watch them on the replay. So I'm going to get better at that. I'm going to figure out a better process for that. So I'm just mixing in the transparent base, the cobalt dryer, and my color on this little palette here. And now I'm going to transfer it back over to this palette. I'm just showing you every step along the way here. I'm going to be using a little bit of a wider roller today. Excuse me. I need to get this blue out of the way. So set that palette aside. Clean up this knife. And I got to get rid of this blue here. So that's out of the way. Alright, so that stuff's out of the way. I can move this now back a little bit more. So this is just what I do before every printing session. Get all this ink ready. So now if we take the color that we have, I'm sorry to knock the, so we're going on top of this red. So you can see now it's a shade lighter, it's more neutral, and it's going to go right on top of that red. So I'm trying to knock this back in value because it's getting a little too dark too quick. So we're just going to do a layer over this. and see how it works. And I don't really have a plan on this one for colors. I'm just kind of rolling with it as I move along. I have a general idea of what I want it to be, but I don't have set specific colors. I'm just kind of adjusting as I go. Just clean up my hands here for a second. So I don't know if it'll turn out. I hope it'll turn out well, but who knows. I also did a couple little textures in here with my Dremel tool. I'm going to start, hopefully we can start to see that in the print. I did some little line work and some stippling here and there to see if we can get some of this texture going. So let's start by rolling out this ink. And I'm going to go a little bit wider because I need to start bringing some pigment down into this print because I'm going to start working on these middle ground cliffs and areas. So I need to start adding this as a base color. Today is raining in New York City. It's warm, it's like 74 degrees or something like that. But it's raining, which we needed the rain. It's been very dry this fall. So I'm just slowly bringing this ink out onto the palette, just warming it up. And we'll apply it to the block. You can see that it's very transparent because we added that transparent base. For the first impression, you really want to make sure you cover the block well, because it does take a little bit of extra ink to cover the whole surface. So you just spend a little bit of extra time and make sure it's all covered equally, smoothly. That's looking pretty good for the first impression. That's a nice, cool gray. So here's our first sheet. Every impression starts the same way. You just get it into these Kento marks, or the registration marks, equally. Press down with the Baron for a little bit, and then I walk over to the press. I'm going to put it through the press. So apologies, this is off camera. Just takes a second. One pass through the press, and then see how this looks. So you can see that dark red shape back there, but that's okay. It's a cloudy kind of night, early evening sunset scene, so if there's a little bit of a dark mass back there, that's okay. And you can actually see the textures that I was talking about from the Dremel tool are showing through, so that's good. It's very subtle, but I'm kind of going for some subtlety here and a little bit of opacity on top of that red. It's hard to see now, but I'm slowly layering this forward. So there's going to be another 10 impressions on top of this coming forward. You can see all the texture and design and all the different colors that are going to be on top. So I'm really just working on this distant, starting to work on this distant cliff here, and then these distant flat areas. So then I just keep going. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Also, I'm thinking about the next color. So when I carve away this next impression, when I carve this next section away, this is the color that you'll see. So I'm thinking about the next color. What do I want the next color to be as I reduce the block? So this, you gotta think ahead one step with reductive printing. These are oil-based pigments. Oh, and I have a YouTube video coming out. It's the second part of this, preparing the block for this. I have a video for it coming out. And it just talks about how I cut the Kento marks, how I use the tools to clear and carve. And it's just a continuation from my last video. So if you're interested in how to prepare a reductive Linocut block, that video will be out at 2 o'clock. I have it set for 2 today. Cool, we have a couple people. It's raining down south as well, I guess. Yeah, so welcome if this is your first time. I do these live streams, usually unannounced, but I'm gonna get better and try to announce them the night before. Just my schedule every day changes, so it's hard to plan ahead. Just ran that through the press once. So again, it's hard to see now, but slowly building up these colors, and I'm working my way forward. So over time, the image builds up on top of itself. But you can see, wish you could see the textures a little bit better, but it's hard to get captured on the camera here. But they are there. So the Dremel tool seems to be working. I do have to go a little bit deeper, I think, though, when I use it. Yeah, we needed the rain too. It's been really dry. My son plays soccer, and the soccer field is just like dust and dirt. All the grass is brown and dead. So it's going to be a dusty and muddy soccer season, because all the grass is just like fried already. So I'm layering a bunch of subtle, cool and warm gray tones on top of each other, because this is like the middle ground of the print, of the landscape. And these impressions are just building up the base for the colors that are going to sit on top. So it's very similar to oil painting, when you have to build up the base tones for the colors that are going on top. But that red was getting a little too dark, so this is kind of, you could see the opacity, the whiteness over that red color, and how it makes an interesting tone. A little bit lighter, a little bit dustier, kind of cloudy. Let me get a piece of white paper so you can see this better. So this paper is so transparent. You can see here as I put this sheet of paper behind it. Look at how transparent this is. So if I do this, you get a better reading of this shape here. Yeah, it seems that like the Dremel and the stippling, you can't really see it that well, but that's why I'm experimenting with it. And I'm experimenting with how deep I have to carve with it. So if you're interested in what's going on in these live streams, you can go back on my YouTube channel. I have, I think, 20 live streams already that I've posted. And in each one we're doing something different. This is like the second project that I've worked on my live streams. But if you're interested in learning how to do this kind of printing, there's tons of information in those videos. And you can just refer to them, skip ahead and see what's going on. It does get a little bit repetitious, because printmaking is a lot of repetition. But I'm trying to show a little bit of something different every time. This time I showed the mixing of the pigments and how I start printing for the day. This one for some reason is really dark. You could see how dark this red was getting already. And I have a lot of layers on top of this, so I'm trying to knock it back with a little bit of lighter blue-gray or a blue-purple. And step by step, we slowly work towards the foreground. This one you can see the, get my paper again. You can actually see a little bit of the texture from right in here. You can see the stippling and the texture that I was going for. I have 20 sheets in this edition, so I'm doing 20. Yeah, it's looking good. It's kind of making this like start to be a little bit hazier and misty in this ground plane coming forward. And you can see the texture there I did with the Dremel tool. So the Dremel tool is great because I did that in like 2 seconds, and this is like took me like 2 minutes, all that little stippling, rather than carving with the knife. So I'm gonna keep going with that Dremel tool. Just have to be careful because there is a polyurethane spray on here, and you know I don't want to be breathing in the dust. So when I do the Dremel tool work, I just had my vacuum cleaner like right near the tool, and it's hopefully sucking up the dust. And then I wore a dust mask. So I just got to be careful when I do that. But yeah, it seems to be working well. You can also see the block better. There's the texture I made with the Dremel tool in here. Bunch of little dots, some line work. So I'm going to continue that throughout this whole print. It's something new that I'm working with. So take this over to the press. Yeah, and please go to my website if you haven't already and subscribe to my newsletter, because I'm going to start sending some updates on these live streams on that as well, I think. But also news and information about all these prints that I'm making, and news that are exhibitions and whatnot that I'm participating in. It's starting to come together. You're starting to see some things going on. This is a very experimental print for me. Doing a lot of new things on this print, which is very exciting. I don't have any expectations. Just kind of going with it. I'm adapting as I go along. And making color decisions as I go along too. I know that in the foreground there's going to be some really rich darks like greens, oranges, and reds. But in this middle ground area it's kind of hazy and smoky, cools and warms kind of layered together. And then the foreground cliff will be much bolder, so this will all be in the background. At least that's the plan. Yeah, I'm using Cranfield Relief inks. I just got them from Blick. It's just like a regular, traditional printmaking ink. I also have some Gamblin inks. Gamblin Relief ink. I know a lot of people are using these water-based and safe wash inks, but they don't dry. They rely on the paper absorbing the oils. It's actually like vegetable oil, I think, soybean oil or something. And you have to have a paper that absorbs. So you need to be using a regular relief ink. And I'm adding a little bit of cobalt dryer, which is just a little bit more drying agent, so that speeds up the drying process, so I can work on this print every day. So that cobalt dryer, this layer will be dry by, to the touch at least, by 8 o'clock this evening. I checked it last night and it was dry by around 8 o'clock. So it really dries it up quick. So you can print endlessly on top of each other. There's no limit. It just builds up like an oil painting. Similar to oil painting, I use sometimes some drying agents like liquid to speed up the drying time if I'm working on a thinly layered painting, or if I'm applying some thick light, or like impasto, or using some thicker lights, colors. They usually take a long time to dry, you know, a full week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever. But if you add a little bit of liquid or something similar, you can get that to dry much faster, in a day or two, so that you can work faster. You need to be in a well ventilated area for all this stuff. In this room, I'm in a really large room, and normally when I'm not streaming, I have fans going, I have windows open, so it's always important to have proper ventilation. So yeah, those water-based inks and the smart washes, they're good for like one color, maybe 2 colors. The one I used to use was the Kua. I think it's a soy-based oil that they use. And it took like 3 months for the inks to dry. And they don't really dry, they just absorb into the paper. So we just keep on going in the same way. It's getting a little thin here. The ink's getting a little thin, but I like that. A little bit of the paper showing through still. Creates a little atmosphere, a little variety in between prints. It's nice. Oh, you switch from the soy-based inks to the Cranfield, and it's a night and day difference. Matt, were you the one that was asking me questions on my YouTube channel? I'm not sure if that's the same person. Yeah, so the point of those water-based inks and safe washes and soy-based inks is there's no harsh solvents. So there is no cobalt dryer, essentially, in the ink. It's just the oil and the pigment. And, you know, it just, they don't really dry. Cool. Oh, I'm glad that it's making a difference. I hope you didn't buy too many. Maybe you can sell those safe washes to somebody online or something. But I'm glad you found a solution to your issues. I'd like to see your work someday, Matt. I don't know how you can share it with me. Maybe email me through my website. I'd love to see some images of what you're working on. Or find me on Instagram and send me a message. Just instant message me on Instagram if you have work on your Instagram. Yeah, any printmaking ink, and they're all pretty much the same thing. You know, if you're using etching inks or intaglio inks, I don't know what the difference is with these relief inks. I just think it's the consistency. It might not be as, might be a little bit more runny, not so tacky. I don't know. I'm still new to this, so I've only been doing this for about 10 years. So I'm still very new. I can see lots of garbage on my block. It's got some old dried ink up there, some chunks of linoleum. So be sure to get that stuff off your block, or it'll get on your print. So you're coming from Peru, you're joining us from Peru. Very cool. So yeah, I got a YouTube video coming out today, 2:00 p.m. So make sure you check that out. I try to make my videos a little bit different every time. This one I made like a little bit of more of an introduction, and I quickly just say what I'm going to do in the video. So I just listed like 4 things that I show in the video. And if it's something that people are interested in, then maybe they'll stick around and stay on the video longer. But who knows? I do like making the YouTube videos. They're really fun. So we're moving along quickly today. After I'm done with these, I'll clean up my ink, clean off the block, my roller, and then I head into the studio, the painting studio, and I'll paint for the rest of the afternoon. So I have an exhibition coming up in November at this location. What I'm depicting in this print here is called the Gungs. That's why I rock climb. And this image is of the cliff. Looking down the ridge line, there's 3 major cliffs, and it's a really beautiful area. And this is actually going to be in the exhibition too, I hope, if it works out. I have a print here that's similar to what I'm doing now. I'll just show you. It's hanging on my wall. But you can see here, this is... Yes, I'm still working on the tree design on cherry. That's, yeah, I'm having some issues with that one. But this is similar to what I'm doing here with this print. So I started at the top. First I started with black. Printed black, and then I carved out those like lines which represent rain. And then the next shape I printed was this top sky color, this blue-gray. And then I carved that away. And then I printed this blue. And then I carved that away. And then I printed this green. And then I printed this gray. And I just slowly worked my way, overlapping the inks all the way to the bottom. And then there's some textures in there that I carved. There's some gradation. This green here, I did a gradation of like yellow to green. There's a gradation in that one. And then this one here. And I'm just like experimenting with like a abstract landscape. So I'm doing the same thing here. It's just I have this composition that I worked out in Photoshop first with all my shapes and cliff edges and stuff. So that's exactly the same process. So now I don't remember. I think I need to ink this block. Yes, I'm still working on the tree design, but I'm not happy with it because I didn't really plan it out. I just kind of took a sketch from my sketchbook, carved that as the key block. I can show you where I'm at with it. And then I just printed it, and I'm kind of still developing some areas, and I don't know. So this is a very rough example of where I'm at. So I still have tones for the rocks. There's like a reddish orange tone in here for this little ground plane area, and there's also another layer of grass here. And you know, I didn't put much time into this. Is just a quick little test print. But I don't know. I'm thinking of. I have to finish this one as well. So maybe after this one, I'll focus on this one. I don't know if I'm going to do it Mokahanga. I actually might just do it oil-based because I'm kind of into the oil-based pigments at the moment. So I have a couple more blocks to cut for that one. But yeah, I have to finish that one before the exhibition as well. So I kind of lost interest in that one at the moment. Sometimes things they don't work out the way you expect them to. And then frustration sets in. And then I just start something new. But that one's close. I think I can make a good print out of that. I just have to figure out what I need to do for the last couple blocks. So we need to start loading some more ink on here. It's getting a little thin. Man, it's humid. It's It's like 100% humidity today. So as soon as I turn this camera off, I'm turning my AC on. It's not very pleasant feeling. So I'm wondering, did everyone see or anyone see the Instagram, my story today? If you did, just say yes or something on the comments. So I'm wondering if that works. I know I didn't give you much time. I gave you like 20 minutes. 20 minutes heads up. But I'm going to try to do that earlier next time. Yeah, I'll keep going on the tree design, Pam. I think I have to carve 2 more blocks. They're really simple shapes, but just 2 more blocks. And then I'll start running some test prints on that. Oh, you didn't see it, so at least you found the stream today. Oh, and I got your email, Pam. I know you want the that printed out on Gompi paper. I can do that. I just like have so many things going on. One of these days I will print it out for you and ship it to you. I'll do it here in the next week or so. Did you need the Gompi like attached to a regular piece of copy paper, or do you just want the Gompi with the printed design on it? I think that's what you want. Or do you want it like a transfer sheet? Because if it's just on Gompi, you know, I can just roll that and ship it to you like in a tube. And then when you get it, you can just unroll it. But if you want it flat and clean and not folded or anything, it's going to have to be like a large box. I'd rather not ship a large box. Or can I fold it once or twice? Is that going to make a difference? Probably not. Anyways, fine. Okay, cool. Well, I don't want to glue it to like a backing sheet if you don't need it glued to anything. So I'll just send you the Gompi, I'm guessing. I was on the Awagami website today because that's the paper I'm using. It's called Awagami Kozo Natural Select or something like that. Hello from Portugal. Thanks for joining us. Did anyone see my Instagram story invite for this video? Still curious. Before they logged on. I was saying the Awagami, they have this 15% tariff now on shipping from Japan to the US. It's just, shipping was already so expensive from Japan. And now it's even more expensive. I love these reductive blocks because I have no idea what they're going to look like in the end. No idea. So I'm just like working towards a goal that's in my mind. I have a photo reference that I'm looking at and a couple photo references that I'm looking at for the colors of this, but I'm not trying to copy it. I have my own little idea of what I want it to look like in my mind, but I have no idea what it's going to look like. Could be a total failure. But then again, I think a lot of my work is a failure. I think that's how it is with artists sometimes. My wife always tells me that as soon as I think it's a failure or it's not good or it's ugly, she goes, that's when you know it's finished. You know, I'll be working on a painting and I'll be like, oh, this thing's a piece of crap. And she'll be like, oh, it must be good. She's just so much more optimistic than I am. God bless her. Painting is never finished. It's only abandoned. Which is another reason why I like printmaking, because printmaking, when there's no more material left to carve, the print's done. I mean, you could always introduce another block into it, I guess, but with these reductive blocks, when it's gone, the material's gone, you're on your last impression, that's it. So there's a definitive end where painting is just endless. Like, you don't know when to stop. And this kind of printmaking or mokuhanga, you have a set of blocks. You know, you have 8 blocks to work with. So you try to work within those design parameter. But when you give you a blank canvas, set of brushes and pigments, here you go, make a picture. It's just endless, the opportunities. So we have more people on today than yesterday. I'm wondering what the difference is. Like, how do you guys find that I'm online? Are you subscribed to my YouTube channel? And it just sends you a notification? I'm trying to figure all this stuff out, because I do like these live streams. I think it's a good way for me to document my work. Because when I sell this print eventually, hopefully, to a customer, I want to refer them to the live streams. You know, live stream 20 through 28 shows step by step how this print was made. And I think that's a cool feature and a marketing sell point to customers. I can even put it on my website, like, hey, this print, if you're interested in this print, check out the live streams, 21 to 28 for the step-by-step how this print was made. And then people can have a different appreciation for it. They can also use it as a, they could show their friends, their family. Look at this cool artwork I bought. And then you can like watch the videos and see how it was made. I'm trying to figure out how to use the live stream to my advantage. Oh, you get an alert 15 or 20 minutes in. Oh, I hope you feel better. Everyday Carrie, I hope you feel better soon. Thanks for chiming in. So you got a notification, Matt, but it came 15 to 20 minutes into the stream. So there's a delay. And this guy found my channel from Peru. He's in Peru. This is his first live stream. Well, thanks for joining us today. So I need to set up notification. I know there's a way to do it through YouTube as well. I have there's a community tab on my website or on my YouTube channel, or I could also say going live tomorrow at noon, and then that should notify you the day before. So maybe I'll do that as well. I can do an Instagram post on my story. I'll do the community tab on my YouTube channel and try to give people some more notice, because it would be nice to get more people on here talking about printmaking and what they're doing and asking questions and stuff. But just sitting here, I mean, I have to do this work anyway, so I'd rather do this work with an audience and people that are interested in it as well, where we can talk and have a little bit of a community. This is also good practice for me to talk on camera and to, pretend like I'm teaching or something. I don't know. Because I would like to teach printmaking. I would like to help people learn how to do this, because I really am passionate about it. And for me, it's very relaxing, especially the carving. I would love to share what I know about this medium on a more individual or small group basis. So this is just practice for me, really. So there's a lot of reasons for me to do the live streams. I'm going to keep doing them regardless. But I'm mostly doing them just to document the work. So after this one, do a before and after. Comparison. To see what this impression did. So I'll move this. This was you can see there, that's the before, this is the after. So you can see how I knocked back that red. It's getting a little too dark, a little too red, warm for me. And this up here, you're getting a glare from the window. But I just knocked it back maybe like a half a step or a half of a value. So I need this cliff back here to be cooler because it's further away. And it adds this nice little red kind of area back there. Maybe that's a shadow of the clouds. It adds some interest in the middle ground there. So yeah, I'm just making, today I was like, oh, this is too dark and this is too red. So I need some gray to go over top of it. So cool gray, a little bit cooler, a little bit more gray. And then tomorrow I'll do the next layer. You know, I'll figure out what I'm working on next. So you'll see whatever I carve away tonight. So I'll probably carve some more shapes away in this mountain here. And I'll take another little section of this ground plane away. And then this color will be revealed and there'll be another color on top of it. So I'm always thinking about the next step. So I have like 4 or 5 more sheets left. So I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to turn this off because I do want to record a couple of these for just another YouTube video when I compile the process of this for a regular YouTube video. I need to get some video for that. So I'll do one more. So if you have any questions, let me know. All right, well, it's good to know that these notifications are coming in a little late. So I'll try to send the notification on the community tab. And that if you do have notifications turned on, I think it'll send you an email or a notification. So I'll try that tonight. I'm going to try to do this tomorrow at the same time. So it'll be like noon. And I know doing this in the middle of the day isn't great. Most people are at work right now. This is the best time of day for me to do this. I have this beautiful natural light coming in through my window. And doing this at 10 o'clock at night after I put my son to bed, I'm just exhausted and I'm ready for bed. I don't really want to stay up too late. So this is really the best time for me to do it. But I really appreciate all the people that joined and all the comments. And hopefully we'll see you back here tomorrow about the same time. Make sure you rest up every day, carry, drink lots of fluids. And I'm going to turn this off for now. Hey Pam, thanks for joining. Glad you made it today. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.